What's going on, everybody? Joe McCall, Real Estate Investing Mastery Podcast. Hope you're in for a good little wild ride here. This is going to be fun. I love software. I love technology. And a lot of you guys know I've been dabbling in some land investing. I've got 2 teenage boys. And I've talked about this a lot before in my podcast, but I love land investing, especially for my 2 teenage boys. I mean, they're good kids, right? And they're smart. But I don't, not to like demean them in any way or sound negative, but I don't know if they would be very good at negotiating with sellers about houses, right? Like when you're dealing with houses, you have to talk to the sellers, right? A lot. And you got to build rapport with them. You got to negotiate with them. You got to be, and a kid can do that. And my kids can't. I feel bad, like I'm making fun of my kids or saying bad something about my kids, but they're super good kids, right? But like, honestly, what it is I don't have the time to train them on how to negotiate with sellers. And so anyway, the reason I like land investing is that you don't have to even talk to the sellers at all until after you send them an offer, and maybe even until after they accept your offer. So with land, you can make offers at 20, 25 cents on the dollar with direct mail. And then the way we do it is we like to send neutral letters or neutral postcards. It just says, hey, do you want to sell your land? Call this phone number and leave a voicemail at this with this reference number, and then we'll send you an offer. We'll do a little research. We'll send you an offer. Then after they get the offer, if they like it, then they call, and that's when I have some partners in the land business that get involved, and they're more of the disposition. So my sons help me on the acquisitions, just mailing offers, and then my disposition guy friend Matt is the one who gets on the phone and talks with them. All right. So anyway, it's been going well over the last 3 years. I don't know. We flipped 30, 40 deals. We just did 2 of them in the last couple of weeks, made about an average of $11,000 net profit on each of them on a couple lots in North Carolina. And we're working on some lots right now in Texas. And so, yeah, we've made some decent money. My boys I'm probably paying them way too much money for the little bit of work that they do. But anyway, it's been good, right? It's been awesome. I like land. And one of the reasons why we've been able to do so well with this is we're using a software called Prycd, Prycd. And we'll talk about that in a minute because I got the 2 guys who created it on this podcast. We're going to be talking to them about what this software is, what it does, how we get our list from it. It saved me a lot of money. And it does all of the data analysis for you, which is really cool. And I'm excited about showing this to you. And don't check out if you're not into land. They're working on updating this, and you can use this for your houses as well. And we're going to be talking a little bit about what they're doing. All right, first little house cleaning things right now. We are live on the YouTubes and Facebook. So what's up, everybody? If you're watching this on YouTube and Facebook, please just type in the comments, say hi, tell us where you are, where you're from. And if you have any questions for us, or if you've used this software and you like it or not, let us know. And then we'll put your questions up here in the comments down below. I just love it when I see your comments. Say hi, tell us where you're from. And then also subscribe to the YouTube channel. Give me a like on Facebook and share this video. I'd really appreciate it. The other thing is this podcast is brought to you by my free book. You just pay a little shipping and handling. And I'm thinking about coming out with volume 2 because I've got one already. But this is REI Secrets, and it's daily nuggets of real estate investing wisdom to help you get more leads, close more deals, and make more money, right? Like this is it's a serious book. Each chapter is only about 1 or 2 or 3 pages long max. And it's written to be kind of like where you just read one little chapter a day, to kind of inspire you, to motivate you, to really refocus on the things that are most important in your real estate investing business. This applies for real estate investors or realtors. But I focus a lot in here about marketing and talking to sellers and making offers and the key to success and knowing what your buyers want and how to find partners and making this this is such a good chapter right here. If you had more time, I'd read this to you. It's a creed for real estate investors. The only way to soar is to jump. Should I hire an acquisitions manager? Aim higher, do more. This is my marketing strategy. Want to know my favorite brokerage firm? Here are the 3 different lease option offers I make. A mind-blowing true story. So there's a lot of good stuff in here. Get it for free at reisecrets.com. You cannot get this on Amazon. I've intentionally, not that I'm anti-Amazon, but sometimes I am, but it's not on Amazon. You can't get it. You can only get it for free at reisecrets.com. In fact, the other day, my book, this is funny. My first book, that's my second book, but Wholesaling Lease Options, you can only get it at WLObook.com. This book, actually, I saw it on Amazon. There's 3 different people selling the used copy of this book for $67 to $77. So about $70 you can buy this on Amazon. I'm not kidding. Like the people sell used books. So if anything, buy this thing just for the shipping for like $6 or $7 and then sell it on Amazon for $70 or whatever. Anyway, cool. Are we ready to go? We got 2 good guests on here, Max and Ryan. How you doing, guys?
We're doing great. Thanks for having us, Joe.
Doing well.
Max and Ryan, Max Edson and Ryan. How do you say your last name, Ryan? I'm sorry. Doucette. I was almost going to guess something like that, but I didn't want to embarrass myself.
I was going to make you for a second, but
No. So cool. You guys are the creators of a really cool software called Prycd, Prycd. First of all, how'd you guys come up with that name?
We were kind of brainstorming. This was probably a little over a year ago now. We were brainstorming names. We were trying to come up with like a trendy sort of, modern tech name. I really like the name Lyft, like the rideshare company, the alternate spelling. We were arguing about a name called Parchase, Parchase for purchasing part, and didn't feel right. So I actually put it into like one of those name generators, and we just like spent like a couple of days looking at a ton of different names, and this one kind of stuck out to us.
And a lot of other names other names were taken too.
Yeah. And the domain was probably available, right?
Yeah.
The domain was available. Like a lot of the handles on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook were available. So it was like, cool, this one seems. And the hardest part was getting people to spell it right and making sure we're like prycd.com, And, but it's,
when I first heard about you guys from Justin and I always forget his other name, Adam. They have a podcast called Casual Fridays REI Podcast. Cool guys. I just had them on my show a week or 2 ago, and I first heard about you guys from them. And I thought, oh man, I love technology and I geek out with that kind of stuff, right? So I looked you guys up and I thought this is pretty interesting. And this was, I don't know, 6 months ago or so. And you guys haven't been around very long. And I now use you guys to get my list. I canceled my, I shouldn't say, I had a subscription with somebody else that I was paying $300 a month for. And I canceled that because I could get the leads for cheaper from you guys. And it's pretty cool. Now let's talk about what Prycd is and what it does real quickly, summarize, and then we're going to demo it. But I want you guys to talk about your background and your story. So what is Prycd real quickly and what does it do?
Yeah, so Prycd is an all-in-one acquisition service. So it's a lead generation tool that you can download a list from. And that's really our finished product where you can take our list. It comes in a CSV file and you can upload it to your mail house to send out offers quickly and effectively. So we provide all the research tools to find a county if you don't know where you want to go and mail next. You can search an area. You can price your mails. So you can actually put offers if you're doing blind letters, or if you're doing neutral letters, you can get market values for each letter. You can go and scrub your data and then download a list quickly and effectively, clean it up, and then send it out. So it can happen all within minutes if you want it to, and you have full control of our system to control and customize it to exactly your needs too.
Yeah. And here's the coolest thing about it, because like if you've ever tried to go to different list providers and try to just get a list of vacant land, it's hard because every county is different. You don't know whether to search for county property type or there's another thing. There's different ways to search for property type,
Mm-hmm. Do
you look for square footage is 0 or assessed improved percentages or zeros? And so, you guys have taken away a lot of that guesswork and made it a lot easier to actually find the vacant land to send mail to, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And we've built our system. So again, we focus mainly on land so far. We do have houses and we are building that out, but we've basically taken the land investing approach and focused on that and built it around. So it worked on what they needed, what land investors needed, and built on what we're licensed providers of data tree and took their system, inputted it into what we have, and now hyper focused it into providing comps, all the prices, and really built a system that could really hyper focus and provide exactly what they need for it.
Nice. Cool. The other cool thing that you guys do is you help figure out what the value per acre on average of land is in that county, right? So you can say, all right, show me, and there's a sliding scale. You can say, help me figure out what my offer would be at 25% of the average value. And you can break it out. Well, we'll show you here in a minute, but you can say like, all right, I for the 1 to 3 acres, I want to offer $680 per acre. And they're really worth, I don't know what, $3,000 an acre or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So talk, Ryan, what were you doing before you created the software? Like, what's your journey into real estate, and are you interested in land investing or what?
Yeah. So I'm a software developer. So I have a computer science background. So prior to doing this project, actually, Max and I are working on a separate project for cryptocurrency, building out an automated crypto trader. And so, for me, it's always been about, developing and creating applications, websites, tools like that. Even in college, I was doing stuff like that. And Max actually about two years ago now, kind of turned me on to this land investing business, and sort of walked me through. He has been doing it for much longer than I have. And so he kind of was explaining to me how this works, and what the process is like, specifically around acquiring the land. So doing the research on the listing services to find market values, doing the research to find owners, and then mailing those owners, sending blind offers. And so we were kind of strategizing that as like, hey, okay, cool, let's get into that. And we're like, well, we could kind of automate this. And one of our initial premises when we built the tool was not so much how to price it, but where to go. And so we were like, what if we could analyze every county in the United States based off of statistical and economic factors and see where would be the best place to look. And so that's kind of the initial model that we built, was taking in all this data, a lot of comp information, a lot of economic information, and creating algorithms that could spit out, ranked locations. And that was, July of 2019. And so originally the idea was, let's use this for our own land investing business. And it ended up becoming, let's build a website and kind of make this more of a public facing thing.
Nice. Super cool. And so, Max, what about you? Talk about your interest into land investing. How did you get there?
Yeah, I've always had a background in investing. And so I studied economics and business management in college. So grew up mainly looking into the stock market, but I had some friends that focused in real estate, and one friend in particular that had land investing in mind. And so I saw him. He actually asked me to invest in one of his deals, and saw that turn around quickly. And I was like, oh, maybe I should do this for myself. And so he turned me on to some of the education that he did, and looked into it for myself and got into it, and quickly saw how manual the process was immediately. And that actually turned me off of it right away for the first year or so. And then kind of what Ryan mentioned was about 2 years ago now or so, we put our heads together, kind of came up with our software that we kind of put together, which is now Prycd. And so that's really where we started and how I kind of got into it. But I've always had an investing background. I find it fun for me. I've played sports growing up, and having that competitive edge. When I stopped playing sports, I needed something else to kind of find that competitive nature, and investing and creating a product and being an entrepreneur was something that can kind of continue that pathway forward. And so this was the best thing to do. And it was just super exciting. It's been super exciting since. And that's kind of been the thing that started me onto this land investing path. And so it's been really, really exciting. And the data part of it has been the best part so far, is really focusing on getting a data-driven answer moving forward. So there's been so much information out there that hasn't been utilized. It's always been, it seems like it could be this, could be that, it very generalized and kind of just based on what your perception is on looking, but analyzing it through a data perspective is something that seemed to have been missed. The real estate movement has gotten there, at least as far as property and houses have gone, but the land seemed to have fallen off that. And so we wanted to bring that to the forefront and move that up as far as the whole real estate movement's going to the tech front. And so it's been really cool to move that up with it now.
And those of you guys wondering, it's prycd.com. You can see the link right there. I don't get anything from recommending these guys. I just think it's such a cool tool. At least I haven't asked you yet for any kind of affiliate commissions, but like this is super cool. And I know you guys are going to love this. We're going to jump into it in just a minute, but if you're interested, again, go check it out. prycd.com. And we've got some cool people in here already making some comments saying, hi, what's up? I can't read this here. Elmo, Roddick from Atlanta, Georgia. What's going on? Babu from New Jersey. Super cool. And then Gary, look at this. Gary, I'm in Arizona, ready to bring my two boys into land investing with me. It's cool. If you're looking for something that's fun to have to do with your kids, check out land investing. And I've done a lot of good podcasts on land investing. If you go to my YouTube channel or go to realestateinvestingmastery.com and just do a search for land, you'll see a lot of people that I've interviewed for this land stuff. All right. So let's jump into Prycd. And I think, Max, you're sharing your screen right now. This is Prycd. And can you just do a quick demo on what it does? But I also want to, when you're done with your demo, I want to ask you some more specific questions about how to research counties when you're picking a county. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. So I'll do the demo now, and then we can definitely touch base on that.
Cool.
So this is our homepage. This is where it all starts. Again, you could either price land, price houses, and go through the process. They're very similar on both sides. But for this demo, we'll go through the land section. And like I mentioned before, it's all about researching, finding a place you want to go, searching that area, filtering, making sure that the criteria meets exactly what type of people you want to send those letters to, the area, analyzing results, picking and scrubbing the data so it's clean and ready to go when you download the list from us. So first step, going to price land, which will get you to our search page. And when you get to our search page, when that brings up, again, you're able to search by a few different ways. And that's going to be, you can search by 2 or 3 different ways. And that's going to be at a state level, you're going to be able to search at a county level. And then you're going to actually be able to search at a city level too. And so when this comes through, this is our search page. So you can type in the search bar. For this example, we're just going to do a county here. But again, like I mentioned, you can search by a state, city, or county. In all instances, we're going to...
I'm sorry, can you zoom in one more time to make it a little bigger?
Let me know when I'm all set. Is that better? One more?
I know that's obnoxious for you because it's so big.
That's good. So is this all set right here?
Yeah. And I'm not old.
Awesome.
I'm just saying there's old people watching this and they want it bigger. I'm just kidding.
Of course. No worries at all. Yeah. So again, this is our search page. So we try to keep it simple. What's great about our system is that it's easy enough to use for the beginner land investor and robust enough to use for the professional land investors. So we cater to all spectrums, which is great. And so again, you can search by a state, county, or city. In all instances, we're going to return results at the county level to start. And so if you type in a state, we're going to return all the counties in that state. If you type in a county, we're going to return that county. And if you put in a city, what we actually do in the search bar is pinpoint that city, draw a radius around it that you can customize that radius range. And then we'll pull in all the counties that touch that radius. So it's a really cool feature as well. If you want to pinpoint certain cities or zip codes, you can have that down below in our advanced search criteria. But we can go through that in a different video. But so you can start by any sort of county search. That's just the easiest thing to do. So let's say if I wanted to do San Bernardino County in California, I can plug that in here as a simple search. And then once I have that, I can open up the advanced search criteria. And this is where you can start creating your filter approach. So this is where you customize even further and start looking at the actual records that you want to start to pull within San Bernardino County. So you can fill out your min and max acreage ranges. And then one of the biggest things that we have here that's unique to our system is this acreage increment range. So let's say, for example, I plugged in 10 and then I plugged in 50 for the max. So I have a 10 and 50 min and max acreage range. What this acreage increment box does is, so how I mentioned before, is we actually price our offers letters. So with our system, you can send out blind offers. And with that, we want to make sure that we're sending out the best and most specific offers to what you want. So we will default to 5 acre increments. Sorry. And because of that, you have the option to choose and customize that as you want. So if you choose to put 5 in here, we will split up offer prices in 5-acre increments from 10 to 15, 15 to 20, all the way from 10 to 50 in that range. But if I move to 10, then it'll split up to 10 and 20. So you have that full customization to change that to make sure that you're getting the prices that you want. So let's say I'll put 10 in here, and then I can move down the list as I want. So we can give you pricing characteristics. You want to price with all of our comps, only our for sale comps, only our sold comps, or a weighted average if you want to use all of our comps. So let's say instead of 50-50, let's say you want to do, I don't know, a 65-35% split.
Well, let's talk about this real quick. This is important. You're getting sold comps and active comps, which is huge. And in some ways, active comps are more, well, I don't want to say more, but just as important as sold comps with land. Because when you're advertising your property for sale for 20, are there going to be a bunch of other properties for sale, similar size, that are for sale for 15? So you want to make sure, like, you got to know. And generally what we do is we'll buy it for 20 cents on the dollar and sell it for 75, 80 cents on the dollar. So like we want to know, are we going to be able to sell our land quickly for cash? If we're selling it on terms, we'll be closer to the value. But so that's why, and the cool thing about this is you guys get sold comps from county records and from Data Tree, but you also get active comps from all of the major sites that sell land, land.com, LandWatch, Lands of America, Zillow, and a couple of 3-4 others, which is nobody else is doing that. So you're getting actual active comps from properties that people are advertising vacant land on.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And one of the things I'll mention is, so we have about 2.3 million comps in our database, and Max will show you here in a little bit, but we will show you those comps when we're setting those prices, so you can do reasoning checks on, hey, we're saying that the offer price should be $600 an acre. Is that going to be competitive in this market and in this acreage range? Like you're saying, Joe, if I buy it for 20 cents on the dollar and sell it for 80, does that check with what's on the market now and what's recently sold?
Yeah. Huge. Okay, cool.
Exactly. So we can keep going down this list, and then the rest of them, how I mentioned, we're Data Tree licensed providers. So the rest of these filters are going to be Data Tree filters embedded into our system. So,
and let me just say this too, Data Tree, there's pretty much, and I might be wrong on this, but there's pretty much 2 major data providers. There's CoreLogic and First American Title, right? And CoreLogic does list source and realist and all of that. CoreLogic has Data Tree. Is that right?
CoreLogic?
CoreLogic. There's CoreLogic and First American Title, right?
Correct.
And then Data Tree belongs to First American Title.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And so again, this is where we're plugging in their information. So all the land use codes, specifically for land, then owner filters, assessor tax filters, situs information. This is where you can really customize the types of records that you want to download. And again, all optional filters, right? So you can plug and choose what you want. You don't have to put in anything in here if you don't want. And this is where you can really start to play around. If you're a beginner, you don't have to choose anything. If you're more advanced, you can start plugging in, getting as specific as you want with all these options.
Let me tell you some of the filters I use, and you guys let me know if these are good or not.
Okay.
I like to mail to people who don't live in that county.
Okay.
So I'll go up, instead of absentee owner, I'll say in county owner. So exclude in county.
Yeah.
And that just says I only want to download the lists of people that don't live on or next to the property.
So you would plug that in right here then.
Yeah, that's not a big deal, but I kind of like that. And then the other one I do is living area square feet. I'll do living area of 0 because I just want to make sure that's one way to filter out any properties that have a building on it, right?
Correct. And with Data Tree, we found that to be the best way to filter out structures.
Yeah. Do you ever there's an improvement filter, and sometimes I use improvement. Do you guys use that? That just means like if improvement is 0, there's been 0 improvements on there. Is that a filter you guys use sometimes as well, or does that depend on the county?
It depends on the county, but usually the living area square footage filter is the one we use the most now.
All right.
Yeah.
Because again, what we're targeting mainly are rural vacant land. Those of you that aren't familiar with land investing, the more rural, the better. And we're looking for small 10 to 50 acre, 5 to 50 acre lots, sometimes less, where there's vacant lands an hour or two outside of any major city. We're looking for land that somebody would buy to go ride their four-wheelers, to go camping, to, just get off the grid, right? And I like to say sometimes to go and hide their guns, right? When the government comes to take all their guns, they want a place so they can bug out and get away, or just, have some fun, recreation with their family. So we're looking for rural vacant land out in the country. Sometimes the farther away, the better. And believe it or not, there's a huge demand for these kinds of rural vacant land, and we buy it so cheap. Right. So that's what we're doing. Okay.
No, it's exciting. And so once you have your set criteria again, you can go through all the steps. Another way to search too that I do want to mention is we do have a mapping tool that you can use a polygon. So if you want to get more specific, we do have a map where you could zoom in on, and instead of just picking a state or a county as a whole, what you can do is use our lasso tool now and then select a certain area if you want to get a little bit more granular in your approach. So you can tag in certain areas. What's cool about our system is that you can do more than one polygon search at one time. So if you want one area, and then let's say just on the other side, you can plug in another area, you can do that as well. So you can do multi-polygon searches at the same time, look at satellite imagery and see a whole bunch of different viewpoints at the same time.
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, so I wanted to throw that in there as well, which is a great tool that you can use too. And then I'm actually going to plug in different county here. I'm going to go with Warren County, Tennessee. Let's get a little bit nature.
It's Max's new favorite county.
I've been playing around with San Bernardino so much, I like to mix it up with a different county now. But what's great again, and what I always recommend is after you've set your criteria, to get a look and see what's out there. So again, 242 results. And the reason is because a lot of the times when you go through this, sometimes the exclusion of in-county, out-of-county, it'll filter out some results. For just the example, I'm going to go include all for this and see what happens. If that happens, again, it's all about adding more. What's great about our system is that you can easily add more counties really quickly and easily. What you can do is click plus, and then I can just go ahead and add another county really easily, just like that. So if I wanted to go through and add another county, all I have to do is type in another one again, and I could go through and go through and no space, yeah. And type one in really quickly, just like that. And click add. And so now I can do a multi-search going through the system. So this is a great way so you can start adding counties together quickly and effectively. And once I have that, again, I can go multi-search, and it's going to load the next page, which is our research page. And it's going to pull in all the owner record data, the counts from data tree at this point. And then it's going to do the pricing models. It's going to pull in the comps. And so this is a great next page where you can look and really analyze all the areas and see what you want to come up with, and look at the results and start choosing what you want to select to download moving forward. So you can see analysis results, 8 rows of data. That doesn't mean 8 owner records in total, just means 8 rows that you can see down below.
Well, there's 1,900.
Correct. Yeah. Records. Yep. 1,900 owner records in this area. And as I go down below, you can sort the data table however you want. I have it sorted Acreage low to high right now. And you can see, so we have the data tree owner records. We have 510 in this row. Total comps in this area, that's for sale and sold comps. We have parcels on market ratio. And if you're unfamiliar with that, what that actually means is that it's telling you how many for sale comps are out there compared to how many parcels of land are actually in this area. So 15% of all the property of land in this area between 10 and 19.99 acres in Warren County, Tennessee, are currently listed on the market right now. So it gives you sort of a saturation level on the market right now. So it's a great way to see, okay, is there too much supply? Is there not as much supply? Gives you an idea, is a good area, what the competition is in that specific target location.
And I'll add it on that number, that it is very relative to our system. So some people have said, hey, like, is there really 15% of all of the, or, you see the one below it, 26, so a quarter of the parcels are for sale. And those numbers are relative to the data tree owner records that we're looking at, right? So the specific land use codes against the specific listings that we've pulled. And so what I like to say is, just compare them to each other within our system versus trying to use them as absolute values across, the entire real estate market.
Yep. Correct. Yep. And then we go through, we'll give you the county, we'll give you the state, we'll give you the acreage range, and then we'll give you the offer price per acre that's mapped off of our market price per acre. And then again, we have the slider bar just up top, and that's where you can decide what your percentage is of the market price per acre. So like you mentioned, it sounds like you go off of 20%. So all I would have to do is slide it left to 20%, and you could see all these offer prices change to that value based off the market price per acre. Now, we don't want you to just always assume that this is right. Now, we're really confident in our model, but we want to make sure that you're always checking for reason. That's part of this process. We want to make sure you're looking at the comps and verifying it. We do the same thing. So what we've actually implemented is if you select one of these boxes, not only does that allow our system to say that, okay, you're selecting these owner records to download moving forward, but it gives you the option to look at the comps within this range too. So all you have to do is select the box, verify you're in this area. So Warren County, 10 to 19.99 acres. And if I click the for sale and sold comps button, now it's going to pull up all the comps within this range again from all the comps from Realtor.com, Lands of America, Zillow, Land Flip, and aggregate them and pull them all into one data table for you to look at. And I could sort the table. I can go sort by low to high price. Another great one is price per acre, low to high. And so now I could look at them and see what the offer prices are based on what the price per acre is on here. Am I too high, too low? We'll give you the price of the comp. We'll give you the acreage range, the price per acre, the city, the status, list date, sold date, and then source. What's really amazing is that these source links are actually clickable too. So if I go and click Zillow, it'll actually bring you right to that link too. So if you're ever curious what that property is looking like, you can actually visually see it now right into our system because it'll bring you right to that site source. So you can go through each one and do that too. This is cool. A great tool. Yeah.
Are you going to show how you can export this and put it into Google Earth?
Yes, I can do that as well.
Oh my gosh. Wait till you see this, guys. All right.
Yeah, and that's part of our campaign mapping tool. If you want to export this data specifically, we can also do that. We have this export comps button. What will happen is, again, it'll download into an Excel file for you. So if you want to do more analysis on it, it'll basically pop up all that information for you into an Excel file quickly and easily. One other additional or two additional columns we do provide for you on the Excel file download is a latitude and longitude column. So you could actually plot these on if you have some additional insert on a map or anything, you could do that. With that, again, we will show the campaign mapping tool at the end, which is one of our coolest features. So, but this is a great tool to do more analysis on. And then again, from here, this is where you can do your verification check, make sure everything's looking good. If you want to go by status, look at only the sold comps. I could look at only the sold comps and see what's going on here. Let's say if I'm a big Realtor.com fan and only like Realtor comps or Zillow comps, let's say.
You're on status.
Yep, sorry. Realtor, I can look at all the Realtor comps. So it's a great way to analyze different types of comps as well. So after that, again, we want you to verify, not only do we have this slider bar, but we give you full control of our system to put whatever offer price you want in there. So again, we'll give you the offer price per acre, but let's say instead of 974, let's say you think it's closer to 1,000. So you want it as 994 point, and you could even throw in some change in there. So if I click update now, you're going to see offer price updated. And if you come down, this offer price is now going to say 994.74, while the rest remain unchanged. It's going to be at the 20%. So this system, again, we give you full control to put in exactly what you want, which is what we want to happen. We want you to feel comfortable with the pricing and make sure that you have exactly what your needs are. So if you want,
can you scroll back up here and talk about city pricing?
Yeah.
What is
so
that?
Again, of course, all the prices that you see down here are at the county level. So we actually have 3 different levels of pricing to meet your needs, and they're going to be at the county level, the city level, and then the most recently released is the geo pricing level. So I can go through each one, and again, the county level is down at the data table. Now the city pricing is the next level down. So what we're actually doing is still looking at the Warren County, Tennessee, 10 to 19.99 acre range, But instead of giving you one county level offer price within this 10 to 19.99 acre range, what we can actually do is break that down even further for you by cities within that acreage range. So instead of giving you this base offer price per acre within that range, what we can actually do is now break it down for you and give you these offer prices that meet these cities. So Morrison will get 1,022, Rock Island will get 779, Smart will get 681, McMinnville will get 1314. Sometimes the way we're parsing out, it'll give multiple different ones, but it'll still be
they're
somewhat
spelled
similar.
a little differently.
Yeah, exactly. But we'll give you the city, we'll give you the market price per acre, and then we'll give you the offer price per acre. And then the other column is Z-score. And what that's really telling you is a negative value is going to mean that it's below the base county level offer price. And a positive value means that the city level pricing is going to be above the base county level offer price. And then the magnitude of this is going to tell you how far above or below that pricing actually is. Another really cool visual of this is if you click this chart button, it will actually bring up this spider graph so you can visually see what the pricing looks like on a chart form of the city level prices. So the top value is always going to be the county level offer price. And then you could see all the city level pricing around it. So you could see what each level pricing is and see how far up below or above it is comparative of it. So it's a great way to look at it. And you can see kind of the price per acres on here in the line. So
now, this doesn't mean the lot is in the city, but every vacant lot, even if it's an hour outside of the city, has in the mailing address a city, the main post office for that city, right?
Correct.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, and one of the cool things that we actually do that that DataTree sometimes struggles with vacant land is their property zip code and property city information will be blank. And so what we can do is on your export, we actually look up the owner record lat long information, and we can fill in the property, city, and zip code information based on the lat long, and then we just locate the closest city to assign it to. And that way, when we're doing something like city pricing, every property has a home to go to, essentially.
Yeah. And so again, we can do this for every row. So that city pricing mechanism will be for this row because we checked it. But if I select another row, again, it automatically gets applied to all these other rows as long as I select this box that says apply city pricing. So if I click this box, apply city pricing, then we don't use these offer prices here, but unless they're for backup. So if you go and select here, we'll use the city pricing for all these rows. So come through here. Now we're looking at 20 to 29.99, and we're going to apply these offer prices specifically for this range with all the cities within it now. So it's a really effective tool now that instead of using one offer price for everything in there, we're now essentially multiplying that for every city within this area. So it's a insane modeling tool that can actually expand it really quickly and give you a ton of offer prices for different areas all at once. And that's just the next level down. So that's what you can do. And again, all you have to do is go through the different areas that you want to select to choose from to download your records. We'll always give you the total record amount that you've selected, the total cost. And once you're comfortable with what you have, again, once you're ready, you click continue to move on to the next page.
And it's 8 cents a record, right?
Correct. It's 8 cents a record.
Which is really, really cheap.
Yeah. And so again, that's just the start. So before we actually download records for you, there's a few different things that go on. So when you usually download from a data source, they'll give you a file, but it's not really neatly formatted. It's just kind of a raw dump of data for you. So what we do is we'll always give you the raw data file from us. Again, it's from DataTree. So we'll always give you the raw property detail export file, which has 232 columns of data. But we want to make sure to have a cleaned up file for you as well. So that's what this next page is actually doing, is creating a new file for you that's cleaned up. And it's our scrubbed file that we call it, that's cleaned up. We'll have the columns that you only want on it. And it's specifically meant for you to send out to your mail house. So that's what we're creating here. So you would check the columns that you want and uncheck the ones that you don't want. So you can go through this. And again, you can just uncheck the ones. You can see that there's some unchecked. And you can create templates on here too. So you can create a really quick process. So basically, you just have to set it once and forget about it. So you can go through here, pick one, it's all set, and then move forward. So again, we're creating that template version. And then the next page are our post-download scrub filters. There's just some things you can't filter on the front end that have to be cleaned up on the back end. And that's what we're doing here. And it's based on that cleaned up scrub filtered file that I just spoke about on the previous page. So this is where we can filter out blank owners. We could filter out church owners, government owners, trust owners, corporate owners. We do have a filter on the front end, but if you want to do on the back end, we could do that here too. Blank addresses, non-US addresses, a whole list of different filtering methods that we can apply here. And so it just helps you clean up your version. So again, the whole premise is for you to download the file from us and send it to your mail house quickly. So that's what we're trying to do here. So again, it's a la carte manner. So all you have to do is select the ones that you want to be filtered and applied, and then leave the other ones out. And the same thing, you can create a template here. So I can say, add that, and it'll apply immediately to that. Or I can just select the ones that I want.
So you can also remove duplicate owners. So you're not sending 20 letters to the same owner.
Correct. And that's actually got moved to the next page here. So on this next page, this is where we have our options. So you can then remove duplicate owners here. And that's where exactly what you mentioned. If an owner has 20 different properties, we'll download one property for you and remove the other 19 of them. So you're not paying for all those records. The way our system actually works, and it's because we're working with data tree, we don't know that number beforehand. So we actually have you pay for all the data up front, and then we credit your account those 19 records. So then on your next download with us, you get credited that amount for the next record. So it ends up working its way out. It's the way we have to do it, because basically the way the information flows from us to data tree. But if you want that, all you have to do is select it. And again, to learn more about how the system works, you can click this learn more button and it'll link to another page. With that being said, this kind of brings us up to that third level of pricing. So I mentioned the county level, I mentioned the city level pricing. This is our geo pricing level, and this is our most granular approach yet. And it really can't get more granular than this, because this is basically comping off of the nearby for sale and sold comps around each individual owner record that you download. So what we're actually doing is taking either your county or your city pricing that you've selected on the previous page. And now we're looking at the for sale and sold comps around each owner record that you download simultaneously when you download with us. And we're adjusting those prices essentially for you now based on those comps around it. And so we're adjusting them up, down based on everything. So we're looking at each individual owner record, whether you have 100, 1,000, 10,000, simultaneously before you actually receive your your download with us. So you receive your download with us within a minute or so. Usually it actually happens even quicker. And so it happens extremely quick. There's thousands of models that are going on at one time. And so you can get your information all in one quick speed for you here. And again, it's looking at each individual owner record and the comps around it. So all you have to do, again, is select that option here. You can learn more about it. And essentially, I can show you how that kind of works a little bit more when I show you the campaign mapping feature, which is the one add-on feature that we have. So it is an additional 2 cents, but if you click on it, what we actually do is apply, or we give you a KML file on download, and that KML file is compatible with Google Earth. So when you download with us, essentially we'll be able to plot every single one of the owner records that you download with us on a Google Earth map, and then we'll also plot the for sale and sold comps around it. So it's an extremely powerful tool when you start doing due diligence. And then also to view your campaign on a map, which is awesome. But due diligence is the main reason for it. So when you get a lead back, you can type in an APN, that owner record pops up. You can see the information, what you offered if you're doing blind offers, what that market price is, who's the owner, what the information is. And then you could zoom out a little bit and see the for sale and sold comps. So you can make quick and effective decisions to move on to it or say pass. So I can kind of, let me pull something up quickly here and see if I can't show you what that looks like really quickly.
What he's talking about is a KML file that you can open up in Google Earth. And it sounds complicated, but it's just a file you download. And when you open the file, it'll actually open Google Earth and show you a map and overlay on the map all of the data you just pulled and all of the for sale comps and all of the sold comps. pretty cool.
Yeah. So let me.
While you're pulling that up, the geo pricing beta, does it change much at all, or and the new geo pricing, is that what you're putting into the KML file as well?
So the geo pricing, as far as changing the actual pricing, it will modify the pricing pretty. I don't want to say pretty substantially, but it just depends on the location. And so we're still working through some of the models and trying to make them a little bit more robust. But what it's trying to do is find as many comps within a distance radius from your owner record, and then it'll adjust it using the weighted model to determine, hey, if the county pricing was 1,000 an acre, but all of the comps within my 1 mile vicinity are at 2,000 an acre, I might want to adjust up to be a little bit closer to what I'm near, and vice versa. If all the comps around me are at 500 an acre, I might have maybe be a little overpriced for that specific area, and so I want to adjust it down. We see that a lot, especially in some of the southwestern states where the county pricing is sometimes a little higher because of maybe a big city, like Maricopa County. The Phoenix metro area is going to raise the prices a lot, and when you start to kind of fall off outside of that region, you have a lot more desert land, and you want to maybe skew your prices a little lower, and so it really works well in stuff like that.
All right, so let me pull this up. I'll do this. So I'm going to pull up actually a comp report. It gives a similar look, but it'll lead into actually the next thing as well. And so I can show that too. And so what this does, it'll give you the campaign map feature. And then along with that, it'll show you actually what our newest feature release is, which is a comp reporting tool, which combines the campaign map with our comp reporting, which is a whole great thing.
Let me share my Google Earth.
Yeah, Max, you could just download an example right on the screen there if you need one.
Yeah, so here, I got it right up here. Can you see my screen still?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, awesome. So this is what the campaign map looks like in a kind of a smaller scale. So this is kind of hovering around one owner record. And essentially think about this, but if you have 1,000 owner records, this would be on a scale times 1,000. So the green would represent one owner record. And then the red is for sale comps, and then the yellow are sold comps. So again, if you have 1,000 owner records, you would get 1,000 green pins here. And then every single pin would have the for sale and sold comps around it. So that's what it would look like on a grand scale. So again, you would type in the APN. If you're getting a lead back, it would pop up the property. Now, this is the comp reporting tool. So we were able to actually draw a boundary around it. On the campaign map, we don't have the capability yet to do that. But again, all you would have to do is zoom in here, zoom out, and then you could see all the properties around it. And what's great about it is that you can go through, click each one, and it will give you the acreage and the price of each sold and for sale comp around it. So you can get a really good basis if you're on the right path and what you need to offer moving forward. So again, if you're doing blind offers, was your price spot on? Do you need to adjust it? If you're doing neutral letters, what do you need to offer to have a good competitive advantage when you're selling it? Are you still below and making enough profit? So it's a great tool to come through, not only to look at the pricing, but then also have a satellite image of the property itself. So I could zoom in. Okay, does this property look good? Does it have road access? Is it remote? Is there anything on the property? What does it look like? Is it flat? And so you can get a good idea. And then the comps comparable? Which ones are good? Which ones may have different features on them? So it's really great to look at like that. And how I mentioned our comp reporting tool, what that is what we'll do is, if you get a lead back, you can actually go to our comp reporting tool and you plug in the state, you plug in the county, you plug in the APN. And when you run the report, you're going to get the KML file of the specific property, which I'm showing here right now, actually. So that's where you're going to get the boundary outlines for you. And then along with that, you're actually going to get a PDF file of a whole report of that property. So not only do that, but this is where the whole due diligence comes in, where you're going to get property information along with it. So just a quick picture of a property.
Whoa, I didn't know this. This is so
This-
cool.
This is a
Rewind and talk about how to do this.
So let's back up a second. So Max is actually showing like a completely separate feature. We're very excited about this feature. So just to kind of finish what we were looking at previously, when you export, you're going to get your data list like you would in Excel. You're going to get a KML file with a map with all of your owner records plotted. So this is, I know this isn't exactly it. This is a map, but this isn't like what you would get if you were to download with us. Max, if you go to the download options, you should be able to download an example right under the checkbox. Oh, you already left that page. Okay. So,
real quick.
But yeah, so what Max was showing you is actually our newest feature. We just released it, I think like yesterday or 2 days ago, basically. And which is our comp reporting tool, which is you can input an APN, it'll download it'll download for you a PDF file with all of the property information, owner information, pricing analysis, comp overview, and all of the comps in the data table, and then also all of the comps mapped, like Max was showing you there, with the owner record boundary cutout, so that you can actually do some analysis. It's really great if you're a realtor or an investor. You want to maybe do some more analysis on this specific property. But just to go back, because I think we got a little ahead of ourselves there.
Yep. Sorry about that. Okay.
So like if I download the data from you guys, I get 1,500 records. One of the sellers responds to my letter and says, yeah, I want to sell my property. So I can put the APN number into Prycd, and it'll bring me something like it'll a PDF and a KML file or a link to what you're.
Okay. Yep. So you'll get two files when you use it. So now we're all over. So Max is showing you now the campaign map from our export. Just to be clear. So this was going back to what we were talking about earlier. This is our campaign map that you would download when you do an export. You see all of the green is all of the owner records that you download. And then you have your for sale and sold comps around each of those.
Right. Okay.
So that's, probably the more traditional.
Yeah.
So now going to the comp reporting tool.
And I can do an example. We can kind of run through it too.
Yes.
To get a full whole world example. But before I run into that too, I kind of want to go through. This is what you would actually get on download with us as well. So you would get 5 files with us on download first. So you would get that raw file, which is the 232 column worth of data, the scrub file, which is essentially the cleaned up version of the data. And this is the one you would use to send out to your mail house that has our pricing included in it. So it has the appended column headers. It has all the information tied to it. And again, this is the data, the columns that you've selected on here. And so the pricing sources, offer price in here, the date that you want to select and to close. So this is the file that you would use to essentially send out. The other 3 files are all admin files. So it'll just show you what export parameters you use, what scrub filters you use, what search parameters you use, just so you have for your records. If you ever wanted to replicate it, you have that in an Excel format. Now we have templates where you can save that information now, but just so you have them for your records too. But now after that, again, once you get the mail out, then you're getting leads back. That's where the comp reporting comes in. So that's where you would come to this comp reporting page that we just kind of softly released. I think it was yesterday, actually, or 2 days ago. It was yesterday that we actually released. So that's why you haven't heard about it yet. So, and I know when I listened to some of the other podcasts, you mentioned that you always get the update our website. And so that's why we are constantly releasing features every day. So that's why if you ever get the update your browser or update our website.
I got to ask you about that. Because you're constantly updating, which is awesome. When you get into it, you have to update your browser. What I do is I do the command on the Mac and then click the refresh button on the browser. Is that good enough?
Yeah, all you have to do is refresh the page. And the reason we do that is, just typically over any website, your browser is going to cache it or store the web page so that you have more optimized results. So when we push these updates, we're just saying, hey, just refresh that to pull the latest updates. So just a basic refresh will
refresh works.
Yeah, nothing crazy.
Okay, good.
Just to make sure you have the most up-to-date information. It could be a bug fix, or it could be, a comp report feature just pops up out of nowhere.
All right, good.
But this is where our comp reporting come in. So you sent your letters out, you have a lead, you want to get a little bit more understanding of what the property is looking like. This is where you would come in. You would go select a state. So let's say I wanted to go, I got a property back in Tennessee. I have a county, let's say, looking at DeKalb County, and then I have an APN here, let's say 06339.
Now, formatting APNs, one of my biggest pet peeves of data. How do you guys handle that?
So what's cool about the APN that you're inputting here is we can actually take unformatted and formatted APNs. So they should both work. It will tell you if, hey, I can't find that property. So that might give you an indicator that maybe this one needs to be formatted. We try and handle both. But as we build out this feature, we're definitely going to work on improving that specific input. We also plan on adding other inputs to find your property, so not just APNs.
All right, so if I could do maybe in the future GPS coordinates or something.
Yeah, so our hope would be is that the goal is to just, as long as it's unique to the property, you should be able to find it. So maybe it's GPS coordinates and like the owner's last name, so that we can guarantee that that's accurate. Yeah. We're starting with APN because it's easiest.
If I take the downloaded data and just copy and paste the APN that I downloaded,
that should work.
It should be fine, right?
Yep, that'll work. Yeah, because it's coming. Those APNs are coming out of DataTree, so that if you plug them right back in, those will work. The where we get, sometimes the hang up is, if the list sometimes comes from other places and it has an unformatted APN and DataTree maybe doesn't have the unformatted on file for that particular property, that's when it might not be able to find it.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, so it'll download automatically, but if it doesn't, on our page, you can download the files individually here. But essentially, if you're using Google Earth website, what you have to do is click open, go to the KML file, wherever it is on your computer, and then just double click it, and it'll automatically open up, find it for you, and then it'll just zoom in on that property. Nice. So you can see it right here now, exactly what it looks like. The boundaries are outlined for you, the green owner record. We could see what's going on here. So it's pretty cool. And then I could zoom out now and then look at the for sale and sold comps around it. So again, I can click on each one, see what's going on. Let's say, okay, Lands of America is here. I got another one here. Again, same thing. I could click these links, open up and see what's actually going on with each one of these properties to make sure that they're comparable. And then along with that, how I was mentioning, it comes with a PDF report too. So this is what that PDF report looks like, where it's more property information data. So, and we'll give you a little quick picture, show you a little bit more about it, give you APN numbers, information about that property details, public record information, location details. And then we go into our pricing analysis. So we'll give you pricing sources and market prices at our county level pricing scheme. We'll give you them at our city level pricing and then our geo level pricing. So you get an idea of what each one's looking at and which one each one's kind of showing you it's worth. So again,
just use the lowest one.
So geo pricing is our most granular approach here. So it has it at 240,000, which we're looking at here. If it had a DataTree estimated value, we'd have that as well. But for vacant rural land, again, just like a lot of other sources, they don't have any values for them. So we created our own for that reason. With that being said, we'll also give you a comp overview. So this is where we kind of break it down by comps. So we'll give you a type. So all of them together, we have 20 comps in this area. We'll break it down by sold, break it down by for sale, and then we break it down by source as well. So if you want to look at different sources, and we'll give you the counts, the average price per acre, average dollar, average acreage, and then the distance away from our property.
This is awesome. And let me just explain something to y'all. This isn't like houses in the sense that you really have to be careful with looking at a real similar property within 100, 200 square feet, sold in the last 12 months, within a half-mile radius. Land, the coolest thing about land is it's a lot easier, or it's more acceptable, I guess maybe is the right thing to say, to make mistakes. Like, we're making such ridiculous low offers. You can spend almost too much time over analyzing this, but we're making such ridiculous low offers. Like, even if you're off, you're still going to make a lot of money with these things, right? And the other advantage to land is the seller is not as emotionally attached to this vacant lot, right? If they're motivated, they don't care. They just want to get rid of it. And it's the same reason, like, some people are asking this, and I can see it now. It's like, Why would somebody be willing to sell their lot for 20 cents on the dollar? It's the same reason why somebody would sell, let's just say at a garage sale, a treadmill that they paid $2,000 for, and they're selling it for $50 at the garage sale, right? They're emotionally detached from it. They've never used it. It just collects clothes in the laundry room or whatever, or in the basement. And every time they walk by it, it reminds them of how fat they are. And their wife is mad at them for buying it and never using it. And they're just like, I want to get rid of it. Okay. And so they just sell it at fire sale prices. Okay. So when you're making your offers, we're making offers so low, 20, 25 cents on the dollar, that it kind of doesn't matter what it's worth almost, because we're making such a low offer. Now, when you go back to then resell it, you can just look at what similar properties are selling for and price it the lowest there or close to what they're selling for on terms and stuff like that. So my whole point is there's much more wiggle room on these kinds of deals, which is a great thing. And the other cool thing is when we make an offer, at least the way I do it, I have at least 90 days to close. So I have at least 1 or 2 months after I do my due diligence, to see if I even have a good deal or not. Sometimes you'll never know until you actually start marketing the property and getting the feedback from the buyers. If you're getting a ton of calls and you know you're advertising it at a good price. If you're not getting any calls, you need to lower your price, and you may find out, well, you know what, I mispriced this thing. So you cancel the contract. You don't have to close on it. So this is some of the biggest advantages of land. I just wanted to explain that to people that maybe are looking at this, getting overwhelmed with all of this data. You have so much more room in these, we have so much more margin for error with vacant land.
Yeah, and we're data nerds, so we always like presenting as much data as possible. Like you mentioned, there's a lot of wiggle room in here. We just like presenting the information available.
Yeah, but this is, I think this is amazing.
Yeah.
And,
we break it down too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, look at that. Because this is stuff, guys, that it's hard to get comps, because sometimes it's hard to find the property on Zillow. You know, it's hard to then zoom in or zoom out and figure out where you are. And if this just makes it so much easier to get you the data. Awesome. Cool.
Yeah. And you can do that for any property. So again, just as simple as that. We're always working to improve on it. One big thing we really pride ourselves on is taking in feedback and then improving our system. So we look at it as a living, breathing product. So we are always looking to take in that feedback, seeing what we can make better, and then providing as much valuable as possible for you and the other users on our system to make it better for everyone, because that's what we're all about. We want to make it good for you, good for everyone, and just create more success overall too.
All right. So on this comping tool, is it for members only? Explain how your pricing structure works with this.
Yep, I can go into that. So the comp reporting tool and really a lot of our tools, so pricing land, pricing houses, those are going to be for our members. So Max is going to head over to the plans and pricing page, show you. So for our exporting, 8 cents per record is our cost there. For our list uploading, which is a feature we actually didn't get into yet, but you can take a list from another source. That maybe you get it from list source or something, and then you can actually upload it into our system and get pricing that way, and that's 3 cents per record. And then we have our monthly subscription, so 24 is the baseline monthly, and then we have our plus plans, which is going to get you that'll get you the exporting of the data tables, so the results table, the research table, which we didn't get into, but also the comp table on that pop-up where you can actually pull that into Excel. So that's our bronze plus, and our gold is just the annual version of that. So for the comp reporting tool, that is included in the plan. So for every month, you're going to get 10 free comp reports. And then you can always buy a bundle of more. So right now we have it priced at $25 for 50 comp reports is the add-on, but you'll get 10 free every month. And that'll be on any plan, you'll get that set up.
Yeah, I'm at the $4.99 per year level. Just paid it because I was paying $300 a month with Data Tree before. And so yeah, super cool. And then the features, when we get a list, we put it into Google Earth. You were using the browser website version of Google Earth. Is that what you mainly use?
No, I mainly use the app version. It depends on the size of the file. So what we've learned is that the size of the file matters. So If you are working with a larger KML file that we provide you, then the website version actually kind of streamlines and functions a little quicker and better. But if you're working on like smaller comp features, then the application of Google Earth is fine, and I like that a little better.
Cool. Do you guys use Parlay as well to get?
We don't. We always try to create and try to finagle our way to create our stuff to the best of our ability. So we don't have their system that we use, at least right now currently.
Those who are wondering, Parlay is a way that you can take a county and just download all of the owner records and puts it into Google Earth. And then you can, when you zoom in, you can see who the owners are of each of all of the lots.
Yeah, and we've had a couple of members actually mention that, and what they're trying to do or what they are doing is they have Parlay, and then they import our KML file, which has the pins of all the owner records, and they'll sit inside of the maps, the cutouts of the lots, which is really cool because now you have all the data plotted. The comps will get plotted inside the lots as well, so you can kind of now start to feel out what that market looks like or what that county looks like with all of the information plugged in.
Yeah, super cool. All right, we've already gone way over what I thought we would, but I still want to ask you guys one more question about picking a county. Like, let's say,
of course, you
say, all right, I want to go into Tennessee. How do you pick a good county to target?
Yeah, and that's a great question. So what we have is a research page.
Can you zoom in a little bit?
Yeah, let me click that, and then I'll zoom in. So what we have is our research page that allows you to make a data-driven decision. That's what we're all about here. So we try to make sure that whatever assumptions you have are kind of thrown out, and then we can make the data tell us what is actually good and what's not. Now, with that being said, now none of these have been statistically proven, but at least gives you an idea of what you're looking for. So this is our research page where you can go and filter different states, different areas. You can actually do a nationwide search if you want. And then we hold every single county in the United States here, where you can run through, have a whole bunch of different data points that you can use to create different filtering methods to find different and filter out different counties. So
how did you get there?
So all I went to is our More tab, and then went to our research page. And again,
I've not even used this yet.
So this is for subscribers as well. So you can't access this unless you're a subscriber to our site. But again, it allows you access to this, where if I zoom out real quick, you have our data table. And then along with that, you have visual aids down below that hold the same data, just in a visual format and it's interactive too with all the data in the United States too. But for this example, I'll work through this data table, which is a great tool to use. So if you wanted to, let's say in Tennessee, find a certain area, all I would do is plug in Tennessee in here and just start typing it. You'll notice that now down below in the table, we're focusing in all Tennessee now. We have 12 pages worth of results here. And then let me zoom out just so, if I zoom out to that, is that still okay, or is
it's kind of small? Just unfortunately on the screen.
Okay, no, that's fine. So I'm gonna focus on this top portion here first, and then I'll kind of look at the table down below, because this is where it all starts in this top portion. This is where the filtering method kind of comes in, where you would start with your approach. So first of all, you can sort the table how you want. We kind of default to A to Z by county, but you can go open this up now, and you can kind of sort however you want. So you can go through, if you wanted to look at comps high to low, I can go through and sort comps high to low, or if you want sold comps high to low, I can do that. So let's say I don't know, sold comps high to low. I can do that. Now you can see down below in the
it would
table.
Be cool if you could score the quality of the county's GIS data, like sucks, good, really good, or something like that. Because like some counties are just horrible. They have horrible data.
And shameless plug, but I know that Travis King is trying to put together a product that does something like that, where he's looking at county GIS systems and trying to aggregate that information. So maybe we can tell him to start. He gives us feedback and feature information. So maybe we should tell him to score that information, score the GISs,
or how good the county data is.
Yeah, well, and so we do have a scoring mechanism actually. If Max, if you wanted to scroll down to the economic thing really quick. So what we've done is not scored so much the GIS system, but we actually have scored the economics in a county. And what we've done is we've looked at three big features here, and that's going to be natural amenities, unemployment, and per capita income. And we've created a scoring metric that gives you an insight into maybe where is more desirable for people to go and for people to want to live and to buy land and property. And so the natural amenities we've actually taken from somewhere else, from a different source. But what they have is, as Max is highlighting there, you've got median household income, median family income. You have things like mean temperature, relative humidity. And what they're trying to score is where's more desirable. So you'll notice, the West Coast and especially all the coastlines are higher ranked than the other ones. And then we've also plugged in our own inputs with the unemployment, the per capita income, just to try and to give a scale to maybe more desirable place. Not to hate on Michigan or the Midwest there or anything. I like Michigan, but most people probably prefer Arizona, Florida, and California. But yeah, sorry to.
Okay. But that's just one data input too that we can do. So once you have your sorting method, once you have the state that you want to look at, again, that's just, you can do one state, you do multiple states, you can do just a certain county state. Now it's all about filtering for the certain metrics, the criteria that you want to use within that state. So that's where you would go and drop down the list. First and foremost, before I jump into the filtering, these are the headers are what we have to filter from. So we have, again, the total comps, we have the for sale comps, the sold comps, we have the sold to for sale ratio. And what that is we're just dividing the sold comps by the for sale comps to get a sort of supply and demand valuation of that area. So a higher number, we believe it means that it's a better number, meaning that there's more sold comps versus how many for sale comps are in an area. But it's always open to interpretation wherever these data, these metrics are. Other than that, though, we have our parcels on market ratio. Again, we kind of mentioned this before, but it shows you how much property is currently listed for sale versus how much property there is in total in this county. And that's based on just vacant rural land. It's not house data. And then again, all the data and information on this research page is just vacant rural land data too. There's no housing metrics or property information on this. So yeah, this is a very land specific page.
One filter you might want to do is maybe exclude the counties that have huge populations, right? So you could say filter out all of the counties with a population greater than 200,000 or something.
Yep. So you can go through there. And then I would say, I want to look at everything.
Okay. Yeah. Less than.
Run filter. So I would go through there. And then, so now I'm looking at everything where the population is less than 200,000. So that's a great first population one that I can go through there. Now, if you want to normalize that population too, you can always look at, we have a population per square mile tool as well. So again, for the bigger counties, you can always use that metric too. So we have both of those for that reason. So you can use both of them and together, just one at a time. Some other things, again, data tree total parcel count, the coefficient of variation, what that is, it doesn't say which area is better or worse. What it actually tells you of what level of pricing you may need to use. Now, for neutral letters, it's not as important just because you're pricing after the fact once you get the letter back. But for blind offers, it's a good tool to use if you're trying to decide if you want to price at the county, city, or geo pricing level, because it tells you essentially, are the comps more uniform in a county or less uniform in a county? So what's that variation looking like to give you a good determination on that? So that's a good metric to see if you're doing pricing. Economic rank, what county ranking does that have based on just a numerical value of 1 being the best ranking, 3,144 being the worst ranking county amongst the United States. And then we just take that and actually create a legit value of that economic score. What's that county's value of it? And then how you mentioned population, we have our population change. Are there more people going into that county? Are there people coming out? And then the population per square mile. So those are the total metrics we can use. So let's say we wanted another one in here. Let's say we wanted to make sure that there's not that much property currently listed on the market. So I wanted to make sure that there's less than 5% listed on the market. So I would put in parcels on market is less than 5%. That's what I would want. I could run that filter again, and I would make sure that I'm looking at, so I have 2 pages remaining of data on here. So I have all this information that are still meeting my criteria that I could look at.
So if you're looking for some good counties to do some marketing, and what are some of the suggested filters you use or recommend?
Yeah, and again, like we try to stay as agnostic as possible, just so people aren't using the same filters and targeting the same areas. But using them, what we will say is that don't use just one in particular, because one metric can be misleading with another one. So let's just take this sold to for sale ratio, for example. If you use this sold to for sale ratio and you're looking for a high score, let's say you have an extremely high score, but there's not that many comps available, that could be misleading because there's not much data to actually back that up. So we try to give you want to use a few different metrics all in one area. So using those data metrics together, and the parcels on market ratio is a great tool to use. I personally like using those 3 between the comps, the sold for sale, parcels on market ratio. Those are some of my favorite ones that I like.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Some of my favorite ones that I like is just kind of using in conjunction the comps. So like total comps, how many there are, sold to for sale ratio, and parcels on market ratio. Those in common. But again, there's interpretation to everything, and there's nothing right now. There's not enough data to back up any one claim for any one strategy, right? So one strategy for one person may work a certain way. Another strategy for another person may work another way.
What I'm looking for, and tell me if this is okay. I want to just see if there's a lot of activity. Like, is there a lot of sold vacant lots there?
Mm-hmm.
And I would probably then just want to search for sold comps, right?
Yeah, you could say it's greater than a certain amount. So let's say, I don't know, like greater than 100 currently. Let's go through one. So then there's one currently, Hardman County, that meets that criteria with the other criteria that you put up there. So it's less than 200,000 for the population. It has less than 5% currently on the market, and then it has over 100 sold comps as well. So this is one county then that you could take and make an actionable task to then search for moving forward. What's great is that you can, again, if this is a search criteria or a research criteria that you like, you can go and actually save this methodology. So I can save the current search. Let's say just this is my current search, Tennessee. I like it. And I can go save that filter. So when it's in here now, it's in here. So I can always come back to it again. So I can go through here and then come back, and it's already in here again, which is great. And I still have it. If I want to move this and move forward with it, what's great too is that I can just go send a search, and it's going to take this county now and then bring it right to my search page. So you don't even have to like go and type that in. It's going to take it directly from this page now, whatever that list is that you can create, and it's going to move it from here right into the search page. So, which is a great tool to have. Now, this
just reminds me, guys, like this is the thing I love about land. A lot less competition for these deals. And there is a crap ton, excuse my French, of vacant land out there. Like, why are you even thinking or worried about competition? You're talking about thousands and thousands of counties that are out there. You know, some of you may never plan to go to Missouri for a vacation, right? I get it. No big deal. But like, there is a ton of activity in the southwestern, southern half, southwestern, kind of in the Ozarks area. Some beautiful, beautiful land down there that you can buy, right? And there's guys right now I know that are killing it in southwestern Missouri, buying and flipping vacant rural land out there, because people from St. Louis, from Kansas City, Columbia, Springfield, you know, they want to go down there to buy some land to build a cabin, get closer to the lakes, you know, ride their four-wheelers, just build a cabin and get away. And there's a huge demand for rural vacant land in the southwestern part of Missouri right now. And so there are very few people sending marketing down there to these property owners that have owned land. So something to think about.
Yeah, and so like this is where it would pop up here. It's already in here. I could search quickly. Another thing I'd mentioned too, it's another way that I mentioned the research as well. It's not necessarily using our research page, but if you have a big city hub in mind, and you've already done the analysis on it, mainly from, let's say, like a housing background where you've done the unemployment, you've done all the research that this is a good hub to mail. What's a good thing that you can do? Like, let's say I took Houston, Texas, for example, and I plug that in. What you can do, and it's a great way to plug in pull in a bunch of counties around a certain hub of data, get a good buying pool, is if I plug in Houston, Texas here, and then let's say I'm still looking for 10 to 50, I'm going to actually put this increment greater than this range. So I'm going to get one row of data per county. And then let's say I wanted it, I don't know, 50 mile radius around Houston, Texas. When I search now, it's going to pull in every single county around Houston, Texas within a 50 mile radius for me. So I'm pulling in, again, tons of data around a major hub city that I know that has a growing population, a lot of money flowing in as well, good unemployment rate. And so a lot of information. So now I have 38,000 owner records that I can still pull from, and has all this information. So this is a really good way to scale your results to around certain hubs of data too. Now
that's huge.
Because,
yeah, let's say
it's a great way to do it.
Let me just get a little political here. There's a lot of conservative, gun-toting, God-fearing Americans in Texas, right? And they're getting nervous about where the government's going. And okay, I'm sorry, I'm not taking political sides. I'm just saying, like, there's a huge demand for vacant land, and it's a proven statistic. Whenever a liberal Democrat is in office, not that there's anything wrong with that, I'm saying, for the most part, but whenever there's a liberal Democrat in office, you look at what happens with gun sales, they go up, rural vacant land sales go up, people buying books about survival, emergency supplies, those things go up. I'm just talking about following the trends. All right. And so there's a lot of activity right now in the vacant land, especially in areas where there's more conservatives. And even in states like California, you're seeing a lot of people that are conservative there getting nervous, like, oh my gosh, I need to buy some land so I can go hide when the apocalypse happens and all these people come to take my guns. And so they're looking for vacant land 1 or 2 or 3 hours outside of the city that they can get to. Let's say there's a huge earthquake in California, right? And everything falls to pieces. Where can they go? And so they're looking for land 1 to 2 or 3 hours outside of their cities. And there's a lot of money in California right now looking for vacant land way out in, near the Shasta area. Shasta County, I think, is one of the counties out there in Northern California.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? So This is a great tool to see. All right. So from within a 200-mile radius of San Francisco, where is all the land activity happening?
Yeah. Yeah. And you can do multi-city searches on this. So it's a really powerful tool that you can do and showcase a ton of results at the same time. And again, you can use this in conjunction with our research tool as well, right? So if you wanted to do this city search, pull all the counties around the city, and then now go through and let's say we're in Texas now, search all the Texas counties and then do that same filtering methodology. And now basically filter whatever counties you want, create your criteria, and then go through this side and then just select the ones that meet your criteria. So let's say this one met your criteria, these ones met your criteria. So now you're not only picking the counties that are within a certain radius of a major hub, but now you're actually meeting the criteria that you've set forth in the research page as well. So you have kind of two things going on: the counties that are setting you up for most success on a data standpoint, and then around a major hub giving you the biggest buying pool as well.
I'm doing that search right now for Austin, Texas. Just looking at Austin, and I add that criteria in. I do a search. Oh, I didn't type it in right. Austin. Yeah, this is amazing. Very, very cool. You can play with this all day, and
and you can make these radiuses as big or small. So I can move that in.
By the way, just a quick tip: when you're searching, you need to type in the county or the city, and then select from the drop down.
Correct. Yes.
So I just looked at Austin here. and it's filtering, it's pulling data, scrubbing, and I did something wrong. Well, I'll have to look at that later. But anyway, this is a really cool tool, just not to belabor the point too much, but like if you want to see, all right, what are the good counties within a certain state or within 200 miles of this certain city, you can pull that research out and you can say, show me the ones that have the most activity, the most solds, the most. Don't be worried about the competition. The competition is actually a good thing. You want to look to see, all right, where are people actually buying these lots? You don't want to go into the areas where there's not a lot of activity, hoping that you'll find the next secret place, right? You want to go to where the activity is. All right. Anything else you guys want to wrap up this podcast with? This has been really long. So hopefully you guys are digging this because this is cool.
No, we really appreciate you having us on here. Again, this is always exciting and fun for us to do. And again, we are data nerds at heart, so we love building this out, and we really do appreciate feedback. So as users use our site, and if there's something that they feel that could be added that provides value, we would really love to hear it. And if there's something on our site that they don't like, we would also really love to hear that too, because we want to make this, again, as enjoyable as an experience as possible. And that's what we're all about, is helping others and making sure that they're getting value and succeeding through this land business. Because again, we want to bring the data to the forefront. We know it's out there, where it's just about aggregating it and presenting it in the right way to make it as effective and useful as possible. But other than that, again, please check us out. We have a 7-day free trial with all of our subscriptions. If you go to Prycd.com and use us, we're always open. Our support is second to none. It's Ryan and I working it, so I'll say that. And so we'll respond to you within, again, 24 hours, usually within an hour or two as well. So we're always here to help.
Yeah, you guys have been great. I've submitted questions in before, and you've responded really quickly. Cool, guys. Check it out. Again, I don't get anything from recommending these guys. I just like what they're doing. Prycd, Prycd, Prycd.com. Thank you, Max and Ryan. Appreciate you being on my podcast and diving deep into the weeds. I hope you guys like this, and I'm hoping that you all watching this will just check it out, get the free trial. And if you're interested in learning more about land investing, I think you guys have some resources, or don't you have more information of guys that you recommend?
We do. So at the bottom of our homepage, we have some partners that we use or recommend. We also have a how it works page, with how land and house flipping works that we recommend. So Casual Fridays is one of our biggest partners. Obviously, they were early supporters of us. So Justin and Adam do a great job there. REI Conversion, REI Pebble. We're working with them, a lot. Jesse's been very helpful.
I've had Jesse on my show. He's a good guy.
Yeah, we really like Jesse, and so we've been working with them. They just recently added a feature where you can, pull in lists from us directly into their system, and yeah, you can check out the bottom of our page. We have a bunch of other partners that we like to work with and promote.
Nice, and you're going to put my podcast on the bottom of your page.
We absolutely will, and I was also going to add, we do have a referral program. So if anybody signs up, they'll get 200 free records, and if they want to mention you and put your email in the referral email, you'll get 200 free records. So you guys, it's mutually beneficial for them to input your email there.
Right on. Okay, guys, thank you very much. Hey, check them out, Prycd.com, Prycd.com. I love looking at the latest and greatest tools and softwares that are out there, and I think this is definitely on the cutting edge. Some people posted some questions and comments like, how does this compare to these other things? And it doesn't. There is nothing else out there that does this. And I won't mention the names, but one of the ones that popped up in the comments is like, you got to, whoever asked that question, it's not a bad question, but you need to watch this whole podcast and you'll see the difference between the two and what they do and don't do. Good. I appreciate you guys. Max and Ryan, Prycd.com. We'll see you guys later. Thanks again, everybody, for being on the podcast and hanging out. We appreciate you all. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks, Joe.